What's going on, everyone? Today we are diving into another flatbed company, and that company is Melton Truck Lines. And in this video, we're going to call a driver recruiter and see what they have to say about the company, as well as do some online research by looking at their reviews on Google and Indeed. Finally, we're going to take a look at what some other drivers have said on their YouTube channel about Melton Truck Lines. And at the end of the video, I'll answer the question, okay or no way. Would I, Trucker 219, a trucker with over 9 years of experience in the trucking industry, go to work for Melton Truck Lines? Let's go.
Recorded for quality assurance purposes. Melton Truck Lines Recruiting, this is Abby.
Hi, Abby. I was calling to see if I can get some more information about coming to work for you guys.
Sure, what can I answer for you?
I am going to be graduating CDL school next Friday, and I was just curious about what you guys do as far as training and pay and all that fun stuff.
Okay, what CDL school are you attending?
TDI.
Oh, okay. Well, so new drivers with us start at 52 cents per mile, and we pay loaded and empty, plus it's $100 for any load that you tarp. We run all 48 states. We go coast to coast, and my drivers from your area are going to be out for 3 weeks and then home for 3 to 4 days. As far as the training, in total there's 4 weeks. The first 8 days are in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's where the main terminal is located. And that's going to be doing the freight securement training and pre-hire evaluation. But we provide the transportation to Tulsa. We provide the hotel stay. And we also provide breakfast and lunch. And it's paid. It'll be $800 for those 8 days. And then from there is when you would do 3 weeks of road training with the driver trainer. And during that time, you're anywhere among 48 states. And that is paid at $700 a week.
So $700 a week with the road trainer, and then $100 a day for the training while you're doing the tarp and pre-employment?
Correct. It's $100 a day throughout the training period. It's just once you're on the trainer truck, it is paid to you weekly.
Okay. And then how long are you with a trainer?
3 weeks, 21 days.
Okay. Once you go solo, you said it's 52 cents per mile. What's the average miles per week?
Current average is 2,000 to 2,500 miles per week.
And then detention, do you guys pay detention?
We do. It starts on the 3rd hour of being detained, and it's $20 an hour.
Okay. And then do you guys have cameras on your trucks?
We do. We have inward and outward facing.
Okay. And then what are your guys' trucks governed at?
68.
Awesome. And then one more question. Do you guys offer any sort of benefits or anything for veterans?
Yeah, so we have the military apprenticeship program. I don't know if anybody's talked to you about that, where you can access like your GI benefits for the first 2 years that you're over the road. And then, like, if obviously not everybody chooses to do that. But they do have special military decals for the trucks. And then we have like special military, I'm going to call it like a kind of like a buddy system, like an apprenticeship with, other veteran drivers here for Melton. And then we also have the tuition reimbursement as well.
Okay. And then is the tuition reimbursement for everybody or just vets?
Oh, it's for everybody.
Okay.
But like if you use your GI Bill, you still qualify for it.
Okay, gotcha. And then what is that tuition reimbursement?
It's paid out $150 a month every month, and it's up to $10,000 or the subtotal that you paid for the school.
Awesome. And then you guys don't offer any CDL training with you guys at all, do you?
We do not.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You as well. Bye-bye. All right, so I just got off the phone with Melton's recruiting department, and they do not offer any sort of CDL training through them. They expect you to go through a private institution, and then after you've got your CDL, you can come join on with them. They do a pre-employment training as well as load securement, and that pays out at $800 for 8 days. And then after that, you'll go on and be with a driver trainer for 3 weeks at $700 a week. That training would take place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Then once you're done with all that training, you would go solo, being paid out at 52 cents per mile at an average of $2,000 to $2,500 a week. Home time is every 3 weeks out, you get 3 to 4 days home. Detention is paid out at $20 an hour after the first 3 hours instead of 2. And being that you would be on flatbed with Melton, they do have a tarp fee and tarp pay at $100 to tarp. The trucks do have cameras inward and outward facing, and they are governed at 68 miles per hour. They do run all 48 states. So let's go ahead and run the math on their miles and their cents per mile to see what your weekly pay would be on average. All right, so on the low end of 2,000 miles a week, multiply that by 52 cents per mile. You're looking at $1,040 pre-tax, and if you subtract some tax out of that, at a rate of 20% for taxes. Now your taxes could be higher or lower depending on where you're at. It's $208, so let's do 1,040 minus $208. And you should be coming home with $832 for the week on the low end of 2,000 miles. Now if you do 2,500 miles a week, that's $1,300 pre-tax. Take some taxes out of there. And after taxes, you would walk away with $1,040 for the week. All right, so we're going to take a look at their website and make sure it lines up with what the recruiter had told us on the recruiter phone call. All right, so we're over here on their website. We're going to take a look at their flatbed job section. All right, so it says almost 30% of Melton's flatbed truck drivers has been with the company for more than 3 years, and more than 140 of our drivers have driven more than 1 million miles with Melton. Okay, so it seems like a good 30% of their drivers have been there for a long time, and they enjoy the company enough to stick around for that amount of time. Okay, so this says new to driving. Let's see what this has to say. It says for a limited time, earn a $500 bonus during pre-hire evaluation. Melton is offering $500 for any new hires and rehires who begin their PHE class with a valid hazmat certification. Okay, so this only applies to people who have went and got their hazmat ahead of time, which that could be you, and if so, hey, you might get a $500 bonus. All right, so it says the first step to work with them is that you have to do a pre-hire evaluation. Let's see what that's about. Okay, so it says there's an 8-day pre-hire course of $800, minimum of 3 weeks with a trainer at $100 a day, and this is for student drivers. And then over here it says for experienced drivers, there's an 8-day pre-hire course at $1,000, and then it says you may not be required to go out with a trainer truck depending on experience. Okay, so Melton's flatbed training program. Step number 1 is obtain your Class A CDL. They do not offer a Class A CDL training program with Melton. You have to go to a private institution for that. So if you're looking to get your CDL paid for by a company, this is not the company to go to. They do not offer any CDL training. They only accept drivers who already have their CDL. Now that doesn't mean you need to have experience. You could have been recently graduated out of a CDL school, but they do not do any in-house training. So step 1 is to obtain your Class A CDL. Melton offers tuition reimbursement for new drivers up to $10,000, and that's what the recruiter said. She said that it was paid out at $150 a month too. And then you have to attend a pre-hire evaluation. Most drivers will be a part of an 8-day pre-hire course where we will cover our culture, safety standards, load securement, and tarping best practices. Okay, so I'm guessing that's kind of like an orientation, an 8-day orientation. Basically, they go over all the stuff that's about the company, a little bit of load securement training and tarping training. Then you take a road test after that. Upon completing the pre-hire process, you should have all the knowledge and skills you need to pass your driving test. Okay, then you do road training. As a part of our trucking company's training, all entry-level drivers will go out for approximately 3 weeks with a road trainer that is matched based on their personality to experience over-the-road driving. You may not be required to ride with a road trainer depending on your over-the-road experience. You will be paid per diem during this time. Once you are ready to get in your own flatbed truck, you will start receiving pay by mile. And then finally, congratulations. After completing your training, you'll receive the keys to your truck and hit the road and start your new over-the-road adventure as a solo company driver. Okay, so that's a little bit of a breakdown of what they would require of you as you're starting with Melton. Looks like they do some hands-on securement and tarping training, and that's a part of that 8-day course. Yeah, it says this program includes 8 days of training with instructors who have immense background in transportation, including a former Melton driver with 2.5 million miles. And that sounds super impressive, but how that breaks down is effectively he's been with Melton for 20 to 25 years. Okay, Okay, so as far as trucks, it looks like they have Freightliners, Peterbilts, and Kenworths. All trucks have a 72-inch walk-in sleeper with 24 by 80 oversized bunk beds, 100% automatics. So it's 100% automatic, so if you have an automatics restriction, you'll be able to go and work for them. And here's a look at one of their trucks. Okay, this is a Peterbilt model. This looks like it's a double bunk truck, so this folds out and becomes a bed. Either that or it's just storage. Okay, it looks like you got a refrigerator here, big cabinets. These are nice looking trucks. Okay, so it looks like they got a bunch of collision mitigation and sign readers, lane departure, lots of stuff going on over here with the trucks. And I will tell you from experience, this Bendix collision mitigation system is a pain in the butt. A lot of times, I don't know if they've upgraded it since I've had one, but a lot of times it will read low bridges and stuff and think it's a car in the middle of the road and slam on the brakes for you. Okay, so it looks like they run flatbed trailers as well as step deck. Okay, and then for the veterans, it says that there's an apprenticeship program and flatbed training for veterans, military-friendly truck driving company. Melton is one of the best trucking companies for veterans and military members, with over 30% of Melton employees having served in the military. And it looks like they've also won an award for the Military Times Best for Vets Employers Award. And just like the recruiter said, there's apprenticeship programs that you can use your GI Bill benefits for. And these are all the awards they have won for employing military and veterans. Okay, it looks like they have a couple of different fleets: an over-the-road fleet, South Regional Fleet, and East Regional Fleet. It says regional positions are limited and based on availability. It looks like all the information they have on their website is matching up with what the recruiter had to say. And this just means that the recruiter knows what she's talking about, and she's done her research and knows what company she's recruiting for. But we're going to go ahead and look at some online reviews on Google and Indeed just to see what other drivers have had to say about working for Melton. We're over here looking at their reviews on their Tulsa, Oklahoma location, and it's showing that they have 4 stars out of 493 reviews, and an overwhelming majority is showing 5 stars, with a handful in the 4 to 2 range and a little bit more in the 1-star range. Now we got to remember on Google reviews that anybody can access the Google reviews and they can give their opinion about the company. So this means that anybody out in the public who has a problem with Melton can get on their website and get on to Google and leave a bad review about them. All right, but this first review says, I'd rate 0 stars if I could. Had 2 minor accidents and a close call because another truck braked too hard in a construction zone. They said I can resign or be fired. Never had any citations or anything else against me, but they still made me leave after 1 year. Come to find out, even though my first accident wasn't my fault, a pickup stopped on a 2-lane road with no signal, no reason to stop. It's listed on my record as preventable and at fault. So thanks for screwing me out of the rest of my driving career, Melton. Well, number one, if you've had an accident, it does end up going off your record after a period of time. But if you've had 2 accidents and 1 close call, I wouldn't want you working for me. I mean, you're a danger to be out on the road with. If you've had that many accidents in 1 year period, that's a lot. So I understand being upset and being out of a job, but at the same time, if you're not going to be a safe driver, of course, nobody's going to want to keep you. So hopefully this person is able to get a job or gives enough time for that accident to fall off their record and maybe gets a little bit more training and is a better driver out on the road. We got a 5-star review here 3 months ago. In short, the best company. They're all longtime drivers and they'll teach you exactly what real life is like. The company cares and thinks like truckers. They give you many benefits on the road that no other company offers. Okay, that's a pretty good review. This one says, just finished my orientation with Melton. Everything was great. The recruiter called me every day and kept in constant contact with me throughout the whole process. Got to Tulsa on Sunday and started orientation Monday morning. They provide everything for you except dinner. From day one, they preach safety and they take that seriously. My instructors were awesome. Mondays are the longest day because you're in the classroom mostly, but after that, the week flies by. Every day you're doing something different. The instructors will answer any questions you have for them. If you try and they see that you want it, you will succeed. And this is what I was talking about here with bad reviews being from people on the public. It says truck number 15202 needs to slow the hell down in the parking lot. So like I said, anybody can come on here and give a bad review just based off of something that happened out on the road. Okay, this 4-star review 6 months ago says my experience was good. I had 2.5 years prior flatbed experience, so I didn't need to go out with a trainer. Still had to go through the 8-day classroom and securement training. Okay, so this 1-star review a month ago says terrible company for new drivers. Drove all the way to Oklahoma just for them to tell me I did not pass the road test. Complete waste of time, and they don't pay you if you don't complete orientation. I mean, some of these people, what do you want them to do? Hire you even if you don't pass a road test? I mean, come on now. Okay, another 5-star review here. Love this over-the-road flatbed trucking company. Pay is great, very honest, great DMs. Melton is the best. And DMs is not direct messages, it's driver managers in this location. Okay, another 5-star review here. Great trucking company, friendly staff, and great support system for drivers. Okay, so lots of good reviews on Google for Melton Truck Lines, as well as a couple of bad ones, but realistically, those people deserved what they got. Now, I'm not saying that's awesome for them. I'm sure that situation sucks in their shoes, but at the same time, you can't expect a company to keep on dangerous drivers and or drivers that can't pass a road test. And a company has every right to not employ you based off of those criteria. We're going to take a look at some Indeed reviews to see what those are saying over there on Indeed. All right, so we're over here on Indeed, and they also have a 4-star review out of 537 reviews. And it's mostly 5, 4, and 3 stars with a couple of 1 and 2 stars. All right, this 5-star review of March 2022, Caring and Relaxed Company. This is a flatbed driver out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, we got a 4-star review, also a Class A driver out of Tulsa. Melton was definitely a good place to work. Had your loads and assignments ready if your dispatcher was driven and motivated like you. They said the pros was good pay and the cons was wish they had more dedicated routes. All right, so this one's a 2-star, initially welcoming, bad when getting started. This company has great training. You're fed and taken care of travel-wise. They make it seem as if you can ask for help anytime while over the road. As I started, I was sent places with short time on my clock, preloaded trailers I had to pick up and wait to get fixed. But my main problem is the people who are meant to help. Every time I call for help, the person who answers is rude. Only like 3 times they haven't been. My driver manager told me to go and get another driver manager, all because I asked for a supervisor. They talk to you like a dog, very disrespectful. If you can't handle answering the phones, why work for a place that you have to help people when they call? Okay, so it seems like a little bit of bad communication, a little bit of disrespect going on there. All right, this 3-star says, all right, if you're starting out with your CDL, early and long days working with different loads, and you get to drive a mobile office across the country. However, my only real gripe is that your pay varies on miles you get in a week, and some days it feels like you're not getting what you should. Yeah, unfortunately, this is just trucking. Some weeks you have great miles, some weeks you have terrible miles, and some weeks you'll do a 1,000-mile trip that ends up delivering on Friday morning, and the payroll cutoff is Thursday night at midnight. Therefore, all those 1,000 miles are rolled to the next week. So it can feel very frustrating, but this is just the way trucking goes. Okay, we got a 5-star here. This is an amazing company, a great place to work. They treat you like family. Okay, this 2-star review here says very strict workplace. Pay is all right. Home time is good if you don't have family waiting at home. Driver managers never picked up the phone unless they had an issue with you. Okay, so this is a reoccurring thing that they're having an issue with some communication. This 5-star review says satisfied with everything so far. Okay, this 4-star review, an over-the-road driver out of Tulsa. Great starter company for flatbed. Very good to start out for flatbed. Pay isn't the best, but gets the job done. Mileage can vary. Try to make friends in high places. That just means try to be friends with your dispatcher. This way, you know, if they're looking for somebody to do a load, you're going to be the one that they're going to call. All right, so we got a 2-star review here. Over-the-road truck driver, also out of Tulsa. Very toxic work environment. 2 standards, 1 for all the new people and completely different for tenured drivers. The bulk of the review says very toxic work environment. Most folks didn't even know who I was after 9 years. They regulate your miles if you're a higher paid tenure driver, but that being said, if you're a new guy, they will run you ragged. And they specified some pros and cons. The pros say outside repair and extended coverage. The con says operations, other company VPs are clueless about their drivers and have a very low opinion of drivers. In general, this is just a major problem with mega carriers. You gotta think they have over 1,500 drivers drivers, and each driver manager is managing anywhere from 20 to 30 drivers at a given time. Now, if you're with one driver manager for an extended period of time, eventually they will get to know you, but as a general rule, you're just going to be known by your truck number. And if this is something that's going to bother you, you're going to want to get into a smaller company as quickly as you can. But these driver managers don't want to take the time to memorize your name and associate it with a truck number and then associate it with where you are on the map so they can get you your loads. They're just looking at a screen that says this truck is here, that truck is there. And in general, your communication with a dispatcher or fleet manager is all over the phone. They never get the opportunity to meet you face to face, and that would help also to associate a name with a face. So I can understand having that many drivers to look over, not being able to remember everybody's name. But based off of the Indeed reviews, it was mostly good, with a handful of them complaining about communication and dispatchers. So if you're going to be going to work for Melton, make sure when you talk to your dispatcher for the first couple of times, let them know, hey, communication is very important to me. Fill me in on all the details and everything that I need to know. I'll get out there and do my job, and I'll leave you alone for the most part. Unless there's something serious that I need to talk to you about, I'll just do my job. Make some trucker buddies out on the road. If you're wanting to have communication with somebody, they have a job to do. Get your trucker buddies on the phone and help you get some miles down the road. Your fleet manager is not the person to do that with. So now we're going to take a look at some other YouTube channels to see what other drivers has had to say about their experience with Melton. This first one is coming from the YouTube channel Ian Elbert. And Ian posted this video 2 years ago, so it's not the most up-to-date information, but nevertheless, it's some information about his time at Melton.
This is my income from April 1st to December 31st. That was when I was at Melton. So I started training and orientation here in April. I wasn't driving yet at this time, so this is 9 months total, 8 months of actually driving. But so I'm just going to go over each of these columns, and we'll go into the weekly checks for each of them, and we'll just take a quick look at everything. So this is going from the beginning of the month at the bottom to the end of the month at the top. So this is, my pay for training and orientation. I don't remember exactly how they paid you, like how much it was per day or per week. I mean, this is the checks here, so this is roughly how much you'd get paid for training and orientation if you went there, about $2,500 for that training. And then this was my first month of driving, $5,001. I'm going to this one. So this was my very first check of driving on my own, $2,018 for my first week driving, which was great. And then after that, you see we have a small week, $660. That's because I went home right after I got my truck. Because the way they do it after training and orientation, they send you back to the terminal. After you are done with your on-the-road trainer, they send you back to the terminal. They get you your own truck, and then they just send you off driving. And you can request to go home as soon as possible if you want. That's what I did. So I was out driving for 1 week, and they routed me home. I went home for about a week, just to go back and get clothes, stuff that
Okay, so as you can see, he has a good paycheck and then a bad paycheck, but this is because he took some home time. And this is why I always recommend to drivers, especially new drivers, stay out as long as you can. I know after you get done with a trainer and you get in your own truck, I would definitely recommend to take a little bit of home time then as well. This way you can load up the truck with all of your personal belongings. When you're out with a trainer, you want to keep a minimum surplus of stuff, whether it be clothes or food or bedding, things like that. You want to keep that to a minimum because you are in somebody else's truck and you're kind of bouncing from location to location. But once you go home, fill it up with all the stuff you need, clothes, toiletries, things like that. And this way you can maintain life on the road for a month to 2 months at a time, but stay out as long as you can. This way you can make some more money. Let's get back to it.
I needed for the truck since I had been gone for about a month at this time. And then here's the other weeks in that month. So we'll move on. June, $5,877 going to the weekly pay, $1,400, $1,700, $1,300, $1,200. So this pay is pretty consistent. I was out there for like 4 months straight, I think was the longest I went. So yeah, that's how much I was able to make on that kind of schedule. So if you're like the person who wants to go home every 2 weeks, or if you have obligations, a family, stuff like that, take that into consideration for sure. This is how much I made staying out over the road practically all the time. Now at the end here, I was taking more home time, and we'll get to that in a second. But as you can see, like here, driving all the time, you're making a lot more money. All these months where you take home time, you just don't make as much. That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah, just as a general rule in trucking, if your truck isn't moving, you're not making money. Therefore, if you stay out longer, you're able to make more money. If you're taking home time once a month or twice a month, it's definitely going to have an impact on how much money you're making. So if your goal is to grind hard and make a bunch of money, I would definitely recommend staying out on the road for a longer period of time.
Going to July, this was my biggest month, $7,148 for my third month of driving with no experience, over $7,000. I mean, you can't really complain too much about that. So yeah, here's the weeks for July. Pretty good.
Now, when we're looking at this, I can't tell if this is pre-tax or after-tax, as over here he's showing just income versus net income. But either way, I mean, $1,700 checks, $800 checks, $1,900 checks. These are good paychecks.
And then August, pay drops pretty considerably because, like I was saying, this was one of the months that I took home time, and your pay goes down when you're not driving. That's as simple as that, So here's the weeks for August, $2,000 week in there, pretty good. Goes back up in September.
I'm guessing he took his home time during this, like towards the end of the week on this. It kind of all depends on where the pay cutoff is. It could be Friday at midnight. It could be Tuesday at midnight. It all depends on the company. And if you don't have your proof of deliveries turned in by that time, that's not going to count towards that check. So if he took home time in this week, it's going to affect the following week's pay because it's going to be 2-3 days short. So he probably took home time at the end of this pay period, and then it affected this pay period. Then he went back out on the road for a couple of weeks, worked a week really hard, and then the next week he took some home time as well.
Goes back up in September. I was grinding it out in September. This last one, I think I had a breakdown this week. Now, you do get breakdown pay at Melton. It's just obviously not going to be as much money as you would make if you were just out there driving. So, but that kind of thing is inevitable. Even, in the brand new trucks, Melton gives top of the line brand new equipment. I had a 2022 or 23 Freightliner Cascadia, and it broke down like 2 or 3 times, I think. And yeah, so it just happens, And then also trailers, tires go out. You got to get tires replaced all the time, so.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have a brand new vehicle, it's going to end up breaking down. I know it seems like as if it were a car, a brand new vehicle shouldn't have any issues, but these are trucks and they're getting work put on them. You're driving them down the road thousands of miles in a week. And I found over my career, a lot of times actually the newer trucks have more issues, especially ones that are new models or a redesign. They're still getting the kinks worked out of it. So it's not always the best thing ever to have the most newest, most latest equipment.
That kind of stuff just happens. But moving on into October, 4,470. Here's the weeks for that month. November, 3,665. Took a lot of home time in November. That's why it was some.
Yeah, it looks like here he had a $68 week. That was pretty rough. But then again, the week prior is $2,000. So this is trucking. I mean, it goes up and down and up and down. And a good idea is to track it just like this guy does and keep an average about how much you're going to make a month. It's not always going to be the best checks. It's not always going to be the worst checks.
And then December, my last month there. These were the checks. Well, $22. That's because, like I said, I took a bunch of home time here at the end of November, and then that first week back in December, that was when that check came. So that was that. So yeah, this is just the income. I'm gonna pull up another graph here that'll show us how much I was able to save over this time. But like I was saying, if you're consistent, the pay is gonna be consistent. I would say if you're out there driving all the time, you can easily average $5,500 to $6,000 with no experience. Because that's about what I was doing when I was out there all the time. So yeah. But if you're taking time off, you're going to be making a little bit less. And that's just that.
Yeah, I mean, even $4,000 a month, that's $1,000 a week that you're making. That's not chump change. And a lot of times for a lot of people, that's way more than they've ever seen in their entire life. Coming from working factory jobs or fast food or whatever it is, they get into a new career field and they're making a bunch of money comparatively to what they were. Now, I know some of you guys that are watching my channel have had a nice long career of something else and then you're transitioning into trucking. So this might be a hit for you comparatively to where you are at in life. So, and that's why I find it really hard to recommend a specific company. Everybody's life situation is completely different. So one thing that's great for one company might not be as good for another company. It all depends on you and what you're looking for and where you are at in your career. We're going to take a look at another driver here who's shared his experience with Melton, and this one's coming from the YouTube channel Official Devon Cooper.
I'm going to be talking about my experience working for Melton Truck Lines for 4 months. So I went to Melton back in February, the weekend of Valentine's Day. So they flew me out, got there that Sunday, late at night. Had to be up at like 4 in the morning the next morning, Monday morning, to go to the first day of orientation or whatever. And then I left Melton July like 14th or whatever. So Melton was good to me, man. Starting out just right off the rip, Melton was good to me. I have nothing bad to say about Melton. This ain't gonna be no bashing video. I have nothing bad to say about the company. No particular person at the company. Melton just got an overall good culture going on there at that company. So definitely shout out to Melton for the opportunity, for bringing me on board. The first company to really take a chance on me and give me a chance after getting my CDL back in January up here in Virginia where I'm at. Because I had an accident the year prior, back in like March. I had an at-fault accident, so like none of the other companies wanted to touch me, man. Like I tried to go like Swift. Like, I was trying to do like everything but flatbed. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to do everything but flatbed because of what I heard about flatbed and stuff like that. And then like when I was in CDL school, like the recruiter from Melton, Nick Lawson, like he came to my school, and man, like I just was not feeling Melton. Like I wasn't feeling like none of the flatbed companies, but I was like, man, like I'm getting out of the military, like I gotta have another source of income coming in for me. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna just suck it up, man, and go to Melton and get him a try. First off, like shout out to my recruiter, Abby. She was amazing with, you know what I'm saying, pretty much getting me on board, checking in with me every day, like just following up. And the communication was great. It was flawless, you know.
All right, so he's got a lot of good stuff to say about Melton so far. And a lot of people think that if they have anything in their background, whether it be accidents or some criminal stuff, that it's completely impossible to get into the industry, and that's just not the case. You're almost definitely not going to be able to go to the company that you would like to go to. However, there are plenty of companies that will accept some negativity in your background, and you should still be able to get started in the industry. There are some disqualifying things, but overall, any minor accidents or misdemeanors or things like that, those are able to be worked with as a general rule. Some companies do hire felons, but the key is to get your foot in the door somewhere, get some experience, and then once companies have seen that you're a good driver and that you're doing the right thing, they're more apt to take you on and give you a job.
Went out there, had my own hotel room for like the first 2 weeks, man. I was staying at the Sure Stay. And man, like it was cool. It was cool. And then after the 2 weeks orientation was up, hit the road with a trainer. So I had a cool trainer, man. Shout out to Hannah. If you see this video, shout out to you. The 3 weeks over the road with her was great. It was amazing. We got along, like didn't argue not one time. She trained me out really well, man. Gave me some good tools in my toolbox to help me be successful when I did get my own truck. So I get the TOSA or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They want to check your logs and make sure you guys are doing your paper logs, man. Like you guys will mess around and get yourself sent home and start right back over from square one. Make sure you're doing your paper logs. So all that was done. They asked me like some questions. I had like a quiz to take. Did good on that. And then like me and 4 other guys, they flew us down to Birmingham to get our trucks to get upgraded. So when I got my own truck, I was truck number 14394. I had a 2021 Peterbilt. The thing ride good, man. Yeah, man. Like they had me like somewhere everywhere, man. Like the furthest out west, like I went was like Arizona. I had to take an OD load out there. I ended up having the 4 months that I was with Melton. I ended up having 2 OD loads, which is crazy because like the whole time, like with my trainer, like those 3 weeks, like me and her, like we did not get an OD load, not one time at all. So when I did get my own load, like when I did get my first OD load, man, I probably was like maybe a month in on my own, right? And I'm scared, like I'm terrified. I'm like, bro, what is this? Like, what do I do? So Melton got this thing called like the mentor hotline. So I ended up calling the mentor hotline. Shout out to this guy named Gerald Mayo. He answered the phone and he walked me through, coached me up, told me like, man, do this, this, and this. And it was cool, man. I made it there, right? I made it to I think I was taking that load from like Ohio to like Texas or something like that. But either way, like, oh yeah, I was taking it from like Streetboro, Ohio, down to Pearland, Texas. And it was cool, man. So shout out to him for helping me out with that.
It's cool that they have a mentor hotline too, especially for new drivers. You go out for 3 weeks with a trainer, you're definitely not equipped to do everything. So it's definitely cool that they give you some contacts to reach out to for drivers with more experience than you, that you can rely on their knowledge and help you through getting through whatever you need to get through.
I make pretty decent money at Melton, man. I'm a military vet, so I was enrolled in the apprenticeship program. So I was getting paid every week. Of course, you know what I'm saying, truck drivers, get paid every Friday. Then, I had an extra almost $1,500 check. It was like $1,578 that the VA was paying me for my apprenticeship program, because I was using my GI Bill at the same time, working for Melton. Then on top of that, I'm saying, I'm a disabled vet too, so I was getting a little bit of disability money, still am from the VA and stuff.
Awesome. Okay, so that's what the GI Bill is covering. That's your apprenticeship program. So they're basically paying you to go through the training and get started in a new career field. So if you've got military experience or you're a veteran of the military, this definitely seems like a pretty good company to go for.
Like that. So everything checked out, man. Like I tried to do over the road for, my original plan was to go out there and do it for 12 months. No apartment, no nothing. The only thing I had was like my truck note or whatever. But I only lasted 4 months because like I was like, man, this over the road life not for me, man, at all. So I was like, man, like what do I want to do? Like I don't want to go to another OTR company. Like I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I just it ain't nothing more to it than that. I was like, man, this OTR life is just not for me. Like that's not what I want to do for a whole year.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see that drivers are doing that and they understand that it's not the right career field for them. Now, there is something to be said about sticking with it for a little bit longer. I think 4 months is a little short on the time to figure that out. But if you know right out the gate that over the road is not for you, then get out of it. If you don't enjoy the career that you're in, you got to find something else. And an additional note to that is if you're getting upset and frustrated and the over the road life is wearing on you, it's going to end up making you a bad driver as well. You're going to make poor decisions. You might be getting frustrated and heated out on the road, causing some road rage. So there's no shame in tapping out and getting out before something bad could happen. Yeah, it seems like he was at Melton for a short period of time, but while he was there, he enjoyed his experience. From the fleet managers to the recruiters, he had nothing but respect for the company that he was a part of. So now for the big question, okay or no way, would I, Trucker 219, go to work for Melton Truck Lines? And the answer is yes, I definitely would go work for Melton Truck Lines. However, I understand this trucking company might not be for everyone, especially somebody who's looking to go through a CDL training with a company. And as Melton doesn't have their own CDL training program, this might not be for you. Now, that being said, it ends up still working out for your favor if you want to go through a private institution. You can still get your CDL, oftentimes for a lower cost. And Melton offers a tuition reimbursement program as well, up to $10,000. So that definitely should help somebody who goes through a private institution take care of some of that debt. But as far as downsides, that's about the only thing that I could see that's an issue with Melton, is they don't offer any CDL training. Now, their cents per mile is about 3 cents less than some of the other flatbed companies, but they make up for that in a lot of other areas. Their detention is higher than the other flatbed companies that I've looked at $20 per hour after the first 3 hours. Their TARP fee is $50 higher than the highest one I've seen thus far, and that TARP fee is $100. And overall, it just seems like a great company to be a part of. And I think based off of all the information that we looked at, this would be a great company for new drivers as well as experienced drivers. And especially if you're a veteran, it seems like they do a lot to support the military and the veterans of the military when coming on to Melton Truck Lines. And this is generally an over-the-road trucking company. However, they do have a couple of regional routes that you can run if you prefer to do that. But for the most part, they run all 48 states, meaning that they should be able to hire out of all 48 states. So to the question, okay or no way, would I go to work for Melton Truck Lines? Okay, yeah, they seem like a great company to go to work for. But let me know down in the comments what you think. Would you go to work for Melton Truck Lines based off of the information? And if you want to check out more deep dives just like this on a bunch of different companies, click the playlist right here. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, bye.